She stole her sister's passport to ruin the scholarship dream, but the backup plan turned into sweet revenge. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. Ella had always sensed that her younger sister would someday try to ruin her dreams. What she didn't expect was how openly it would happen. Her heart pounded as she searched her bedroom for the third time. The passport wasn't where she left it. Just yesterday she had tucked it safely into her travel folder and checked it 3 times before going to sleep. Now 2 days before her flight to Rome it was gone. No, 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 she muttered, yanking open her desk drawer. Ella was 19, the quiet overachiever, the girl the family always found too much. She studied hard, aimed high, and worst of all, she refused to orbit around her sister Bella, the family's golden child. Mom, Ella called out, trying to steady her voice. Have you seen my passport? From downstairs came the reply, light and dismissive. You probably misplaced it, sweetheart. You know how scattered you get when you're stressed. Ella clenched her jaw. In the mirror she caught Bella's smirk as her sister leaned against the doorframe, casually twirling a strand of her perfect golden hair. Maybe it's a sign, Bella said, her tone sugar-coated. You're not exactly international material. Ella's eyes darted to her desk where the full-ride scholarship letter sat, a global policy program she'd been selected for from thousands of applicants. I got in fair and square, Ella said, her voice low but firm. Bella stepped into the room. Of course you did. Just like that time your science fair project caught fire, or your prom dress got mysteriously bleached. You're just so unlucky. Those weren't accidents, Ella said, finally turning to face her. Bella smiled. Maybe you're just paranoid. Olive, their father's voice boomed from downstairs. Family meeting. Now. Ella gave Bella a hard stare and followed her sister down the stairs. Their parents sat in the living room, Mom with her cross necklace shining, Dad looking serious. Sweetheart, Mom said, patting the space beside her. We need to talk about this scholarship thing. There's nothing to talk about, Ella replied, standing her ground. I earned this. I'm going. Without a passport? Dad said, raising an eyebrow. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. You're not ready for something this big. I am, Ella said firmly. She's just jealous, Bella interrupted, her voice trembling with fake tears. Ever since I was asked to lead youth group, she's been trying to outshine me. I'm not making anything up, Ella insisted. But her mom pulled Bella into a comforting hug. Sometimes God closes doors for a reason, sweetheart, she said to Ella. Pastor Ron says to be content where we are. Something shifted inside Ella. It wasn't anger. It was clarity. You're right, she said softly, surprising them. Maybe I should pray about it. That's my girl, Dad said, relieved. I just need some time alone, Ella added. Of course, Mom said. I'll bring you some tea. Back in her room, Ella closed the door and grabbed her phone. Her fingers were steady now as she messaged Jamal. Plan Alpha is a go. Backup passport ready, he replied. You sure about this? Across the yard, Ella spotted Bella laughing on FaceTime. She caught Ella's gaze and blew her a kiss. Ella thought of all the years she'd been called dramatic, the years her accomplishments had been ignored. Absolutely sure, she texted back. Ella heard her mom's footsteps coming upstairs. She wiped her eyes quickly, preparing to act the part of the devastated daughter. She'd play the game one last time. Mom entered with a tray. I brought some tea, she said gently. Ella nodded, her face buried in her pillow. As soon as Mom left, Ella sat up. Her phone showed the time, 9:47 p.m. time to move to phase 2. She walked downstairs slowly, dragging her feet just enough. Mom? Dad? They looked up from their usual spots. I need to ask again. About the passport. The one I lost months ago. Dad narrowed his eyes. Months ago? Ella nodded. Yeah. Right after I got the scholarship news. But you only told us about it last week, Mom said, frowning. Ella opened her email. I actually got the letter in February. I didn't know how to tell you. You lied. Dad's voice rose. Like how you're lying about my passport, Ella shot back. Right on cue, Bella appeared in the doorway. She's accusing us again. I'm not accusing, Ella said. I'm stating facts. The science fair fire, the bleached prom dress. You were behind it. You're being ridiculous. Bella's eyes filled with crocodile tears. Mom, make her stop, she wailed. Ella, Mom's voice turned sharp. Apologize to your sister. No, Ella said clearly. I'm done apologizing for existing. That's enough. Dad slammed his hand on the table. Go to your room. Ella paused at the stairs. Funny thing about my passport. I applied for a new one in March. It takes 6 to 8 weeks. That was 5 months ago. The room fell silent. Ella took out her phone and swiped to her photo gallery. Here's me at the passport office, she said, her voice calm. Dated March 15th. She showed another photo. Here's the receipt. And this, she held up the screen again, is the tracking number showing it was delivered in May. Dad's face twitched. If you have another passport, where is it? Ella smiled faintly. Somewhere safe. Where none of you can reach it. You ungrateful little. Bella lunged forward, but Mom grabbed her arm. Ella, Mom said, her voice tense with fake calm. If you're planning something foolish. Like what? Following my dreams? Or do you mean foolish like stealing your sister's passport and then pretending it never happened? I never took it. Bella barked. Save it, Ella said. I don't need the passport you stole. I don't need your blessing. And I definitely don't need your prayers. Ella turned to leave, but Mom called after her. We only want what's best for you. No, Ella said over her shoulder. You want what's easiest for you. That's not the same. Back in her room, she locked the door. Her laptop chimed. A message from Jamal. Everything's set for tomorrow. You okay? Ella stared at the message. She remembered the years of being called emotional, sensitive, ungrateful. The time she was told to tone it down so Bella could shine. Better than okay, she replied. They finally showed who they really are. More messages came in, this time from Bella. You're making a huge mistake. Mom and Dad are really upset. Why do you always ruin everything? Ella blocked her number. Through the wall, she heard Bella crying. Their parents rushing to comfort her. The golden child's crown was slipping and she knew it. Ella checked her hidden backpack one last time. Backup passport, scholarship documents, ticket to Rome. She set her alarm and lay in bed, not even trying to sleep. At 4:45 a.m. the house was silent. She was already dressed as she reached into the crawl space behind her closet for her backpack. Her phone buzzed. Jamal, outside in 5. You ready? Ella took one last look at her room. The cross above her bed. Photos where Bella stood center stage. The desk she studied at while dreaming of escape. She left a note on her pillow. Some doors are meant to stay closed. Don't try to find me. She crept through the hallway, stepping over the 3rd stair to avoid the creak. In the kitchen, the scent of coffee told her Dad's auto timer had gone off. A single floorboard creaked upstairs. She froze. Footsteps. Bathroom door. Ella held her breath. Bella appeared at the top of the stairs, half asleep, heading for the bathroom. Ella didn't move until she heard the door click shut. Her phone buzzed again. Here. She tiptoed to the front door, turning the knob slowly. The hinges groaned. The bathroom door opened again. Ella. Bella called out, suspicion sharp in her voice. Ella didn't wait. She yanked the door open and bolted. Mom. Dad. She's leaving. Bella screamed. Jamal's car waited at the curb, headlights off. Ella sprinted across the lawn as lights flicked on upstairs. Ella Grace Morgan, don't you dare. Dad shouted from the window. She dove into Jamal's car. Go. Jamal floored it as her parents ran out in pajamas. Dad chased the car barefoot before giving up halfway. Jamal laughed. That was intense. Keep driving, Ella panted. They might follow. Already planned for that, he said, turning down a side street. Jamal took a series of random turns through quiet neighborhoods before pulling into a 24-hour grocery store parking lot. We'll switch to my sister's car, he said. They don't know that one. As they moved Ella's bag from his trunk, her phone exploded with notifications. Calls, texts, all from her family. Mom, come home this instant. Dad, you're making a terrible mistake. Bella, I can't believe you'd hurt us like this. Mom, we're calling the police. Dad, your mother is crying. Bella, you ruined everything. Ella turned the phone off and tossed it into her bag. You okay? Jamal asked, opening the passenger door of his sister's Honda. Ella stared at the rising sun stretching across the sky. Better than okay, she said softly. I'm free. By 6 a.m. they arrived at the airport. Jamal insisted on walking her to security. "You sure about this?" he asked. "I've never been more sure of anything." She pulled him into a hug. "Thank you for everything. Promise me you'll enjoy Rome a little," he said. "Don't spend the whole time plotting revenge." Ella laughed. "Why not both?" As she moved through security, the weight of years melted off with each step. Her backup passport worked flawlessly. No one even blinked. At her gate, she turned her phone back on. Hundreds of messages flooded in. But it was Bella's latest Instagram post that caught her attention. A photo of herself in Ella's empty room with a sad caption. "Sister's night in. Some people just don't understand that family comes first." Ella opened her own Instagram and posted a single photo. Her boarding pass. "Some people don't understand that freedom comes first." The plane to Rome was boarding. Ella stood, grabbed her carry-on and walked to the gate without looking back. Behind her were 18 years of being told to shrink herself, to be less so Bella could shine brighter. Ahead was everything she had fought for. Rome hit her senses like a song. Loud, beautiful, overwhelming. Outside Leonardo da Vinci International Airport, she finally turned her phone back on. The messages had changed. "Mom, just let us know you're safe. Dad, we can fix this as a family. Bella, you're so selfish." Mom hasn't stopped crying. A new number lit up her screen. "Hi Ella, I'm Eva from the scholarship program. I'm your mentor. Look for the red scarf." Ella spotted her instantly. Tall, confident and smiling. "You must be our American rebel," Eva said, pulling her into a warm hug. "Don't worry. We've got your back." The scholarship residence was a former monastery with ivy-covered stone walls and arched windows. Her room overlooked a courtyard where international students chatted over espresso and books. "Orientation starts in an hour," Eva said, helping her with her suitcase. "They're throwing you right into the deep end. UN ambassador giving the welcome address." Ella blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" Eva laughed. "Relax. I read your application. You're more than ready." Inside the orientation hall, dozens of scholars and diplomats filled the room. Ella found a seat near the front, trying to steady her nerves. The director stepped forward. "Our first presenter today is a surprise addition. Ella from New York will speak on grassroots digital movements." Ella froze. Eva nudged her. "I submitted your essay. You've got this." As she walked to the podium, Ella thought of Bella's sabotage, her parents' doubt. Not this time. She took a deep breath and began to speak. "Social media isn't just about communication," Ella said, her voice steady. "It's a revolution in how we protest, organize, and create change." She spoke for 15 minutes without stuttering once. Questions followed and she answered each with clarity. The ambassador even nodded in approval. Afterward, Eva introduced her to key figures in the room. "Ella's research on digital activism is groundbreaking," she said to the program director. "We're lucky to have her." Ella's phone buzzed. A local news site from her town had picked up her story. Local teen's dramatic escape to prestigious scholarship program raises questions about family support. The comment section was chaotic. Good for her. She always seemed different from her sister. What kind of family steals a passport? Then she saw Bella's latest post, a teary video saying, "Please pray for those who walk away from family." The comments weren't kind this time. "Didn't your sister win a full scholarship? Why would anyone steal a passport?" Eva glanced over Ella's shoulder. "Your sister's losing the narrative," she said. "She was always the golden child," Ella muttered. "Well, now she's in your shadow," Eva smiled. "Oh, and the program wants to feature you in their international promo video. Filming starts tomorrow." Ella's hands trembled. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious." That evening, Ella joined the other students in the courtyard, sharing stories over pasta and wine. For the first time she felt seen. Not just noticed but truly understood. Her phone buzzed again. "Congratulations. Rising Leader Award nominee. Ella Morgan selected for Global Innovation in Activism." Eva reappeared with champagne. "You might want to check your email too." It was from the program director. "Your presentation was exceptional. We'd like you to speak at the award ceremony next month. International press will be present." Ella could already picture Bella's face when she saw the news. Ella sat on her balcony, staring at the Roman skyline as messages continued to pour in. Bridget had posted yet another tear-filled video about family loyalty. But this time the comments were brutal. Didn't you sabotage her? Character growth starts with accountability. Still waiting on that passport apology. Minutes later the video vanished. Then so did Bella's entire Instagram account. Eva joined Ella on the balcony. You're smiling, she said, pouring more champagne. Thinking about justice, Ella replied. Well, justice wants you to address the European Parliament next month, Eva said, handing her a printed schedule. Ella stared at the page. Every speech. Every engagement. Every achievement. All public. All undeniable. Back home her parents and sister would be forced to watch. She didn't have to say a word. Her life was now her message. That night, Ella received another update from Jamal. The news segment aired, he wrote. They showed clips of your speech. She pictured her family frozen in the living room as the reporter said her name. Ella Morgan from Westchester, New York, has been awarded the Rising Leader honor for her work in digital activism. The clip cut to Ella standing confidently in a red dress, Bella's signature color. On camera she said, "Success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right." Jamal messaged again. Your sister stormed out. Your mom's trying to call the station to correct the narrative. The town Facebook group was on fire. Didn't the parents say she wasn't going anywhere? My daughter went to school with both girls. Always knew Ella had something special. Ella leaned back in her chair sipping her drink. Let them squirm. Her mom posted in the church group. So proud of our Ella. We've always supported her dreams. #ProudMama. But screenshots of her old dismissive posts were already circulating. Didn't you call her confused last week? Pretty sure you said Bella was the only one walking with God. The backlash came fast. Ella ignored the calls. Her phone filled with voicemails from both parents. This isn't Christian behavior, Ella. You're hurting your mother. You've ruined everything. Then Jamal messaged again. Bridget's youth pastor role? Suspended. Church launched a character review. Ella hadn't expected that. But karma had its own rhythm. Eva joined her again, phone in hand. You've just been booked to speak at the White House Youth Leadership Summit. Ella blinked. What? Yep. Keynote speaker. She laughed through the shock. Let her family tell people she was lost. She'd never been more found. Ella opened her old family group email thread, used for years to share Bella's achievements. She clicked reply all, and attached her latest interview. In it she said, sometimes love isn't love at all. Sometimes it's control, dressed up as protection. Within minutes replies flooded in. We had no idea. Your parents never mentioned you. This explains a lot. Jamal texted next. Your mom just left church in tears. Pastor's wife refused to sit next to her. Another message followed. Bridget officially removed from youth leadership. Personal reasons. Ella didn't feel triumph. She felt light. Free. No more wondering if she was too much. Eva reappeared with a contract. UN position. Permanent. After graduation. Ready to sign. Ella took the pen. Her phone buzzed again. Dad, we hope you find what you're looking for. No apology. No accountability. Ella typed, I already did. I found myself. And she's magnificent. The next morning, Ella stood at the balcony of her Geneva hotel suite, reviewing her notes. Her first TED Talk was scheduled for noon. A knock came. Eva entered, tablet in hand. The Secretary General wants to move up your meeting. The car's waiting downstairs. Ella nodded. Almost ready. As she packed her speech, her eyes fell on a photo from her childhood. Her and Bella on a swing set. Even back then Bella had held the center, smiling brightly. Ella had stood beside her, slightly out of focus. She tucked the photo into a drawer and closed it. Let's go help some more black sheep fly, she said to Eva with a smile. At the UN building, everything buzzed with diplomatic energy. As she waited for the elevator, Ella overheard a heated conversation. A mother and daughter stood nearby. But I want to study photography, the girl pleaded. We're not discussing this again, the mother snapped. You're going to med school. That's final. Ella stepped forward. Excuse me, she said. I couldn't help but hear. They both turned. Recognition flashed in the mother's eyes. You're that speaker, she said. Ella turned to the girl. Let me guess. They say they're protecting you. The girl nodded. Ella smiled and handed her a card. Email me. I know some great photography programs in Rome. The mother hesitated. Something in her expression softened. In the car, Eva raised an eyebrow. That was bold. Maybe that's the real revenge, Ella said. Helping others avoid what I went through. Her phone buzzed again. It was Bella. The message read, to my sister. I'm sorry. Not for likes. Not for attention. Sorry. I was wrong. Ella stared at the screen. The comments were kind for once. That took courage. We all make mistakes. Owning them matters. Growth begins with honesty. Eva leaned in. Are you going to respond? Ella shook her head. Her growth isn't my responsibility anymore. Inside the UN conference hall, a media team waited. A staff member approached. The Secretary General would like you to share your personal story before we dive into policy. Ella nodded slowly. Tell him I'll share something better, she said. I'll share what comes after survival. That evening she finished an interview question that had been nagging her. Was revenge worth the cost of losing your family? She typed, the real question isn't whether revenge was worth it. It's whether freedom was worth the price. And it was. Her inbox buzzed with replies from teens across the world. You gave me the courage to leave. I bought a backup passport too. I finally applied for the art school I wanted. Back in her suite, Ella received a new text from an unknown number. I saw your speech. I'm leaving for college tomorrow. My parents tried to stop me but I got my documents ready. Just like you. Thank you. She smiled, remembering her own 5 a.m. escape. Eva appeared in the doorway holding up 2 suits. Geneva summit tomorrow. Then Berlin. Then Cape Town. Ella pointed to the one with bold red lining. Let's make a statement. The world was watching, but this time not to judge. This time it was watching her rise. At the gala dinner in Geneva, she spoke to diplomats, activists, and young dreamers alike. Sometimes love wears a mask, she said in her toast. And sometimes the people who claim to love us the most are the ones who fear our freedom. Cameras flashed as she raised her glass. To those who chose themselves even when no one else did. She caught Eva's eye across the room. The mentor had become a friend. You've changed lives, Eva mouthed. Ella nodded. Including mine. Her phone buzzed again. Your sister deleted her social media. Your parents left church leadership. The shadows that once held her captive were fading fast. An invitation arrived the next morning. An international policy summit on digital rights. Ella was the keynote speaker. Eva handed it to her with pride. From silence to celebrated in under a year. Ella smiled. They once told me I talked too much. Eva laughed. Now the world pays to hear you speak. At the summit, reporters asked about her rise. How did your family react? Ella answered carefully. They watched. They disapproved. Then they fell silent. But their silence was never my end. It was my beginning. The audience applauded. Ella stood tall in her red blazer, eyes glowing with purpose. On the flight to Berlin, she finally let herself scroll through old photos. Birthdays where Bella blew out both candles. Report cards praised, but only Bella's. She deleted each one. Not to forget but to make space. Eva leaned over. What are you thinking? That this version of me has no room for crumbs, Ella said. Only full tables and open skies. A stewardess offered her champagne. She raised her glass. To peace. Not in the world but in myself. And it was real. In Berlin, she received a final email from her father. We hope you find what you're looking for. Still no apology. No, we were wrong. Just the echo of distance. She replied, I already did. I found a life so full that you no longer fit into it. Then she archived the thread. Eva sent over the next week's schedule. Ella's face would soon appear on the cover of a global leadership magazine. She no longer needed their approval. She was her own validation now. And that power was unshakable. Months later, at the International Youth Summit in Cape Town, Ella delivered her most powerful speech yet. Sometimes the people who raise you teach you how to survive, not how to live. And sometimes, the greatest healing comes from letting go of the need for their approval. The room stood in applause. She closed her speech with one final truth. I didn't succeed to spite anyone. I succeeded because I refused to let anyone write my ending but me. In the audience, hundreds of faces watched her, not as the black sheep but as the blazing light. And this time no one dared look away. Afterward, on the rooftop of her hotel, Ella looked out over the city. Eva joined her with a cup of tea. Still thinking about them? Not anymore, Ella said. Her heart no longer twisted at the thought of her family. Instead, it beat steady, filled with clarity and calm. They'll always be part of my story, she said. But they're not the author anymore. Eva raised her cup. To your new chapters. Ella smiled. To the girl who chose herself. They clinked cups under the stars, no shadows in sight. Back home, Ella's story had become a blueprint for others. Schools, youth groups and mentorship programs invited her to speak. Her name became synonymous with courage, clarity and personal power. She never mentioned Bella again in public. Not out of bitterness, but because she no longer needed to. Her success was no longer defined by what she escaped. It was defined by what she built. Every speech, every award, every young person who whispered, "Thank you," after hearing her story. That was the legacy she had chosen. On the anniversary of her departure, she stood in a sunlit auditorium in Paris. 1,000 students sat in hushed silence. "What's one thing you'd tell your younger self?" a girl in the front row asked. Ella paused. Then she said, "Your pain is real. But so is your power. And no one can steal your future if you keep moving forward." The room erupted in cheers. She felt tears sting her eyes, not from sadness but from awe. At the girl she had been. And the woman she had become. That night she wrote a letter. Not to her parents. Not to Bella. But to herself. "Dear Ella. You're not too much. You're not too ambitious. You're not hard to love. You're just enough." She sealed the letter and placed it in her journal. A reminder for every day she might forget. As she stepped onto yet another global stage, this time in Tokyo, Ella took one final look at her phone. No new messages from her family. Just one from a girl she met months ago. "I got into the art school in Rome. Thank you for believing in me." Ella smiled, slipped the phone into her pocket and faced the crowd. The lights brightened. The applause began. And the girl who once ran away in the dark now stood in the spotlight. Unapologetically, unmistakably, magnificently free. Moral lesson. When love demands your silence, it's not love, it's control. The path to true freedom may cost you the comfort of acceptance, but it grants you the power to define yourself, speak your truth, and rise beyond the shadows of those who feared your light.